Okay, good evening and welcome to the Yuba County Candidate Forums brought to you by the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce and the Appeal Democrat. My name is Marni Sanders and I'm the CEO of the Chamber. Tonight I'd like to extend a special thanks to Yuba County for the use of the facility tonight. And just a reminder that the Appeal Democrat will feature these forums in the days to come in the paper. And we also are live streaming on the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, and so you can re-watch these forums if you would like. And now I'm going to turn it over to Nikki Rodgers, who is a Chamber of Commerce Board Chair and our Chair of the Government Affairs Committee.
Thank you. Okay, this last forum is for Yuba Water Agency Board South Division with Brent Hastey, Incumbent, and Wedn Bishop. Each candidate will receive 90 seconds for an opening statement. Then from there we'll do questions from the committee, the audience, and readers of the Appeal Democrat. If you'd like a question considered, please raise your hand. Bill has cards over there he can give you. For those of you live streaming, please put your questions into the comments. We do ask if you have a question that you address both candidates. We cannot consider questions that are only addressed to one candidate. We do have time for about 5 to 6 questions, so if we don't get to yours, we do apologize in advance. We will do our best. We do ask that you hold your applause to the very end, just for time purposes. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Rebuttals will be allowed only if there is a reference to a particular opposing candidate in another candidate's answer. Those rebuttals will be allowed 30 seconds. At the end of each question, each candidate will be allowed up to 2 minutes for a closing statement. No rebuttals during the closing statements. Candidates, Jacki Lee has our time cards. The first one that says 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and then time's up. We do ask that you stay within your time. And then our moderators for the evening, we have Summa, editor of the Appeal Democrat, Bob Harlan, executive director of the Yuba-Sutter-Colusa United Way, both of which have donated many hours to determine tonight's issues pertinent to Yuba County and bring you tonight's forum. So I will turn it over to them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the introduction and appreciate everybody being here. And over the next half hour or so, we're going to learn about the Yuba County Water Agency Board of Directors, and particularly these two candidates, incumbent Brent Hastey and challenger Wedn Bishop, their feelings on how the water agencies should proceed into the future. Let's start with an opening statement of up to 90 seconds for each of the candidates. We'll start with challenger Wedn Bishop, up to 90 seconds.
Thanks, Bob. The Yuba Water Agency is an incredible asset left to us by past county leaders who had vision, good business sense, and plenty of guts. I want to be part of making sure we honor their legacy by making good, sound business decisions in this critical time in the history of the agency, and being good stewards of all the benefits the agency provides. I'm a third-generation local farmer. My grandparents had dairy farms in Plumas Lake and District 10, and my parents bought the first 40 acres of our farm in Wheatland, which became Bishop's Pumpkin Farm. My own family joined them in the pumpkin farm operation, and we've been growing the business year over year. This year, Bishop's Pumpkin Farm will celebrate our 50th harvest in Yuba County, and will host about 275,000 guests. We have 15 full-time employees and 600 seasonal staff. I graduated from Wheatland High School and then majored in agricultural engineering at Cal Poly. I truly enjoy giving back to our community. I currently sit on the Reclamation District 2103 board. I've been on the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce board and the Wheatland School District board. I believe in integrity, common sense, and fiscal responsibility, and I would appreciate your vote on June 7th.
Thank you, Wedn. Brent, you have up to 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bob. I just want to say thanks to the Chamber and the Appeal Democrat. I feel like a success just sitting up here tonight. 8 years ago, I asked Bob Harlan and then editor of the paper, you should let the water agency be in these debates. And they said, no, you're just a water agency. I said, no, I think we're going to be important enough to be here. So I feel like that leadership has got us to this table. And I think the agency has made a difference in the lives of Yuba County citizens. We currently have the largest forest management program in the country that we'll be winning an award for tomorrow at the SAC Business Journal. We have done projects around the county. We do the Bill Shaw grants, which gives $10,000 to local fire districts and first responders on a yearly basis. We have really started making a difference in the community since I've been on this board. And my hope is that we will continue to do that. We have the resources because of those people who came before us, those people 60 years ago who did miracles. And we have to make sure that 50 years from now, when people look back to us as leaders here, that we did miracles, that we changed the community we live in. And that's my hope, to continue to make Yuba County better every second I'm here. I have a lot of experience in boards and in water, and I want to continue to protect and make Yuba County the best place it can be.
Okay, thank you to both candidates for the opening statement. We'll have our first question delivered by Robert Summa of Wayne Bishop.
Thank you both for being here, Wayne and Brent. Thank you for those that did stick around. As Brent said, water is a huge deal in this state. Yuba Water Agency is a huge force in this region and actually the state. So it is important that we hear from both of you. First question is for Wayne. How will you help protect the county's water availability?
So I'm a farmer, and actually I'm the southernmost farmer in the county who receives water that's delivered by the water agency. So I fully understand the importance of that water. I understand the importance of the Yuba River Accord, and I understand that the importance of renegotiating that when it's up in the next couple of years. I think it's critical that we have farmers on the water agency board, and I will certainly do everything I can to make sure that accord gets renewed, that's the agreement that governs how that water gets used.
Brent?
Sure. I spend every day protecting Yuba County water. This morning I was on the NACWA, Northern California Water Association board. I'm also the chair of their drought task force. This is the worst water year we've had in the history of my lifetime and anybody since the agency's been built. But we have a full supply in Yuba County. I will continue to protect that. I will say this. I think it's important that you have to be in the room when it happens. And I have spent my life making sure that when it happens, I will be there for Yuba County. I will be where they make the decisions that protect Yuba County's water. I will also say this. Farmers in Yuba County are going to sell conjunctive use water this year, $800 an acre foot, and they'll sell $50 million worth of water. I'm not convinced the farmers need help. It's us that live in the urban areas that need help. So I'm there to protect not just the farmers who are doing quite well in Yuba County, but all of us.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to our next question. What are the biggest challenges for the water agency? We'll start with Brent.
I would agree with Wayne on this. The biggest challenge is making sure the voluntary agreements are finished. I was there 2 weeks ago when we signed the MOUs, which was incredibly important long-term for the Yuba Water Agency. It steadies our revenue source over the next 10 to 15, almost 20 years. So it is incredibly important that we have people in Yuba County who are in that room when that negotiation is happening and when it is signed and finished, hopefully in the next 2 years. I think the other thing is we at the agency have to absolutely make sure that we invest in infrastructure that makes a difference in this community. I am convinced that the ARC spillway or the secondary spillway is something that absolutely improves almost everybody's life in Yuba County by protecting us from flood. And as somebody who has canoed through my house, I believe flood control is pretty darned important. Thank you.
So the biggest challenges probably will always be flood control and water delivery. And I think we all understand that. Anybody who's interested in this board gets that. But the challenge I think that's interesting right now is that the Yuba Water Agency has an opportunity that I'm afraid we're going to miss. And that opportunity is created by the $175 million that's in the bank right now that the water agency has available for projects beyond its missions. We have a 45-page document of ideas we can choose from. Unfortunately, and what I've learned in my business is that there's no shortage of ideas out there, but there's often a shortage of good ideas. And we need a business person to sift through all of those ideas and find the good ones, and let's get started making some investments and making Yuba County better.
Thank you. This question is from the public. The Yuba Water Agency Board has approved design on a multi-million-dollar experience center. Wayne, do you support this project?
I support getting students out to experience the river and getting students interested in science and engineering and biology and all of the things they can learn. I know what kids can learn by getting outside the classroom and doing things with their hands. I don't think we need $120 million worth of roads and buildings to make that happen. My business was built with less than 10% of that amount of money over 50 years. I'm just certain that we can achieve those goals, which are awesome, of getting kids in Yuba County out to the river and getting them interested in things that could become a career to them. It's just not going to take $120 million to do that.
Brent?
Yeah, I would say I agree with Wayne. He's built a great business, and he's got 275,000 people going down rural, roads in front of people's houses. The agency is not going to build something that impacts the community that is going to have traffic problems. We're going to make it right. Do I support it? Absolutely. I've been absolutely the most passionate because I heard what both the Yuba County Office of Education people said and most of the county supervisors. We need to take care of the children in Yuba County. We need to make sure how we can help them, how we can make sure that they are proud of Yuba County. And so I think it is important. I don't think it has to be built tomorrow. I think it's absolutely a phased project over time, and maybe it takes 20 years, maybe it takes 30. But I can promise you that we built the agency over time. We built it, we ran out of money, and then we built the South System much later. So I am absolutely for supporting changing the lives of the children in Yuba County.
Did you want to rebuttal?
I would like to rebut.
Okay.
So one of the things I hear a lot in my business is this line from a movie. And people like to say, if you build it, they will come. And that's just a line from a movie is all that is. It just doesn't work that way in real life. And so I don't think you're going to have traffic problems at this $120 million facility because people won't show up tomorrow. It's one of those things that takes a lot of time to build something enough traffic that you have traffic issues. So.
Next question, we'll go with Brent on this one. What has the water agency done right, and do you think what do you think can be improved? Kind of just looking to the future.
Sure. I think the agency was right in making sure that we're known in the community. So 8 years ago, we weren't known. We weren't sitting up here. I think that partly is making sure that the community knows who we are. I think the things that we have done right, we have done $500 million. We've brought money into this community of levee work and flood control. And the Yuba Accord, which Don Schrader's sitting out there who drove that through as the chair of the agency. I think that we've done that well. I think that we have built one of the biggest forest management programs in the state. I think the best thing that we do is we collaborate with people who aren't like us to make sure that we bring other money into the community. And I think that we're fantastic at being ready when there are federal and state dollars to spend in a community. We are there with a shovel-ready project, and that is what I think makes us so successful.
Could you repeat that question?
What has the water agency done right, and do you think what do you think can be improved?
So I agree with my opponent that what they've done well is flood control. We need to continue that. The secondary spillway, a lot of people don't understand how that's going to work. What it's going to do is give us a lower spillway point on the dam so that when we see a big storm coming, we can get water out of the way and down the rivers and out of the valley before the storm hits, and then have more storage for that water so we can improve flood. It's one of the few things left that we can do for flood control. So we need to keep going down that road. I also like one of the economic development projects that has been committed to is to extend wastewater infrastructure to the South County. And if we're going to talk about developing the economy and bringing new businesses in, we need that infrastructure.
What is this? It has to do with the secondary spillway. Yeah, but it doesn't fit in the. Mike, you can put it in your closing statement.
All right. Ask this question of the supervisors. I'm going to ask it of you guys. Wayne, how should power generation revenues be spent by Yuba Water Agency?
So, first of all, we need to make sure those primary missions of flood control and water delivery are met. And as I just said, that secondary spillway needs to get done sooner rather than later, and that's a huge project. So let's get that done. Beyond that, the board has decided to embark on a mission of economic development for Yuba County, and I think that's wonderful. The key is going to be, as I said earlier, going through that list of projects and making sure that we spend money on the right things, things that will lead to results, not just throw a lot of money all over the place and not get results from it.
Yeah, I would totally agree on the ARC spillway or secondary spillway. I do want to point out, Wayne has mentioned that we have $175 million in the bank, and that money is set aside to build that ARC spillway, which is a $225 million project. So while we have money, it's there to protect the citizens of Yuba County, and it's dedicated to that project. I think that the agency is really important in how we spend the money, is how we make sure that we bring money into this community, and we work really hard because we have this resource that not only do we use our money, but we work really hard to make sure we have other people's money helping us. So just this last week, we did this forest management program, and we just got awarded $30 million from the federal government. And I think, again, that's what the agency is good at. We have the resources to start the projects, and we have the ability and the people to make sure that we get state and federal dollars to help us build these things so you citizens don't have to pay for all of it.
Rebut?
Please. You mentioned what I talked about, the $175 million.
Yeah, but it wasn't slandering you. So, well, if you'd like to put it in your closing statement, you can do that. Next question, we'll start with Brent. When an issue about water allocation arises for private business or other water agencies in the foothills, for instance, what should your course of action be?
I think that we have to stay within what the agency can do. I am convinced that, and as frustrating it is, and I think some of this is up in the very north of water districts, up in the top, we have to figure out how to help them, even if sometimes it's very difficult to work with them. I don't think that we in Yuba County should be having an issue with water within our community. We have to make sure that we have groundwater for all of our urban areas, and that's one of the things that both the Accord and our groundwater management take care of. But I think that we have places that are in the upper hills that we need to figure out. And I'll be honest, this has been, the challenge with the upper hills has been difficult for decades. But I do think that we as leaders, not only in Yuba County water, but statewide, need to make sure that the people of Yuba County are serviced and there are not water difficulties in Yuba County.
Okay. Wayne?
So I understand for a number of years now, some of the people in the northern part of the county have not received their irrigation water. And I think that's a tragedy that In this county where we have so many challenges, the one thing we have a wealth in is water. And there shouldn't be these instances of farmers not getting their water in Yuba County. Now, I also understand that that's a separate district. The Yuba Water Agency doesn't run that district. They have their own elected board and their own staff. But if there is a way that the water agency can get involved and help solve the problems up there, then I'm very supportive of that.
Okay. Final question?
Yep.
All
Final question.
Final question of the night. Wayne, why are you the strongest candidate for this position?
I believe that this is a critical time in the agency's history, that we just have this opportunity to make things better in Yuba County. We have this incredible source of revenue that no other county has. And we have an opportunity to make this better. And we need business people on that board helping make the decisions. I believe that I've proven I've built one of the largest businesses in Yuba County, one of the biggest employers, one of the biggest taxpayers, and the largest tourism destination. I understand how to build a business, and I understand how to make good investments with resources that are available. My dad used to like to say that if he had any money when he started our business, he would have gone broke. And it sounds odd, but I feel like that's where the water agency is right now. We have to be real careful.
Brent?
Sure. I think that experience matters. I think that being in the room when it happens is important, that you and Yuba County deserve that protection. I have built a small business, a very successful business in Plumas Lake, and I have been blessed with having an amazing wife, Allison, who supported me for decades to not only be part of the community and helping the community, but supporting me and making sure that I could do these things and invest in our businesses. I have continued from 1986 to work hard for the people of Yuba County, and I have taken every opportunity to get better at what I do. It's why the Association of California Water Agencies Executive Director said I was the best leader their board had ever had. And I think that's important. I think it's important for leadership to be on this board that's recognized within the state. When you are a big target for the state, you have something the state wants. And so I think it's important to have leaders that know other leaders and have that understanding.
It sounds like a closing statement there, too. Let's go to the closing statement. You have up to 2 minutes. We'll go with Brent. Why don't you take 2 minutes, and then we'll have 2 minutes for Wayne.
Great. So I just want to say that I have spent my life serving in Yuba County, never holding a full-time government job, but making sure that I had time to make sure that I could help our community. From the '86 flood, when I was backing sandbags up the levee and then asked to go on the 784 board, to being a county supervisor, to being on LAFCO, to being on a college board. The reality is, I was one of those people who they kept saying, you should run for higher office, and I have no heart for higher office. I love South Yuba County. My mom was chasing cattle the day I was born in South Yuba County. I have been here from the day I was born, and that, Wayne and I are similar. I love this county, and I have dedicated my life to making it better. The time to be on this board was 2014, and I made that decision a long time ago, because that's when we took back over the agency in 2016. So planning and thinking about when it's the best time, it's not this year, because we got some big things we got to get done, and we need experience to finish that. But what we then, when we took it over, is when we need to build it. And you can see, for me sitting up here, how different it is. I'm sitting up here because we started leading at the Yuba Water Agency in Yuba County. And I want to continue to lead, and I want to continue to make this community a place where my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren can't wait to be a part of. That means we do economic development. That means we bring in water to places that need it. That means we do wastewater in South County. That means we do infrastructure projects that there is no other place in the state that has the ability that we have. And I think that we need to make sure that we change the community and make it better. And I will say this last thing. Wayne has on his signs a pumpkin, and if I needed an expert in pumpkins, I would be calling Wayne. My sign, I have a water drop. And that's because that's what I've spent 30 years being an expert in, so that I can protect the citizens of Yuba County. Thank you. I look for your vote on June 7th.
Thank you, Brent. Wayne, you have up to 2 minutes.
First of all, thank you to the Chamber and the Appeal Democrat for hosting this event, and thanks to all of you who stuck around for the last of it. My education's in agricultural engineering. I'm a farmer, and I fully understand how we all benefit from water. I have served on the boards of a school district, a reclamation district, and a chamber of commerce. At Bishop's Pumpkin Farm, we are celebrating our 50th harvest this year. The farm has been under my direction for the past 17 years. I have grown it into one of the largest employers, largest tourism destinations, and largest taxpayers in the county. I'm ready for a role on the Yuba Water Agency Board. My opponent has been on the agency board for many years. He talks about all the important people that he knows around the state, but I believe we need to elect real leaders to the Water Agency Board. And great leaders are not defined by who they know or how many boards they've been on. Great leaders are defined by the effects they've had on other people's lives. I believe I can say I've been that kind of a leader in my business and in my community. The Yuba Water Agency is an incredible asset left to us by past county leaders who had vision, good business sense, and plenty of guts. This is a critical time. With a staggering $175 million already in savings, I believe this agency director election is the most critical local race on the ballot. I want to make sure we are good stewards of those funds and invest in projects that will benefit all Yuba County residents. I ask for your vote on June 7th.
Okay. Round of applause for both of our candidates. Two men that obviously are very passionate about this race. Make sure that you have an opportunity to watch this again on the Chamber of Commerce, Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. Tell your friends about it as well. And I think you have a better understanding about the Yuba County Water Agency and its position in our community now. And we thank both of our candidates for providing that. Thank you very much and take care.
Thank you.
We work for sounds of pitter-patter. We sweat for moments of triumph. And we look forward to lunchroom chatter. We do it to help businesses prosper and communities thrive. It takes passion. It takes leadership and innovation. And it requires plenty of perseverance and teamwork. We are the catalyst for economic growth. We are the convener for leaders and influencers. We are the champion for a stronger Yuba-Sutter. We are the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce. Grow with us.